Good morning, students. Today we will discuss the last part of History Chapter 1, Nationalism in Europe. In the previous class, we learned about unification of Italy. Today we will discuss the last two subtopics of this chapter, visualizing the nations and nationalism and imperialism. We'll start with the first subtopic, explaining about visualizing the nation. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the artists of France and Germany used many symbols, ideas, and representations to help citizens to visualize the idea of their nation and to appreciate and propagate its values and foundational ethics. Nations were often represented as female figures. When we talk about our country, we use the word mother more symbolically. The female form that was chosen to personify the nation did not stand for any particular women in real life. They were simply abstract ideas and creative personalities that depicted the ideas that the nation stood for. That is, the female figure became an allegory of the nation. Allegory. Allegory means the way of expressing an abstract idea like freedom, liberty, greed, and so on are expressed through a person or thing. In chapter 3, Nationalism in India, we learned about Bharat Mata as the female allegory. During the French Revolution, nationalists made use of several symbols to depict certain ideas, values, and beliefs. For example, last year we learned in History Chapter 1, French Revolution, about the different symbols used during the French Revolution, like broken chain and red cap represented freedom. Then justice was generally represented with a blindfolded woman carrying a pair of weighing scales. Like this, we learned different symbols, or else the nationalist used different symbols during the French Revolution. Now we will learn about the female allegories in France and Germany. Here you can see the image of the female allegory in France. Many different female figures were used as allegories of the nation. Their appearance, form, and personality often represented that their nation stood for. Here we can see Marianne. She was a female allegory in France, which underlined the idea of a people's nation. The characteristics of Marianne are she wore a red cap that represents freedom, a cockade. Cockade means hat with a kind of feather, and often carried a tricolor. All the three represented the ideas of liberty and republic. Here you can see the image of Marianne. Here in this figure, you can see on the top of her cap, you can see this is known as cockade. So cockade means it's a hat with a kind of feather. So all these represents liberty, represents the ideas of liberty and republic. The statue of Marianne were erected at public places to remind people about the significance of the nation and instill the feeling of nationalism. Her pictures were also marked on coins and stamps. Similarly, in Germany, they had Germania. Here you can see the image of Germania. In Germany, the female figure of Germania came to be known as the allegory of the nation. Germania was shown wearing a crown of oak leaves. For Germans, oak stands for heroism. She was also shown as holding a sword in her hand, which depicted the idea of bravery. Now we will move on to the last topic, explaining about nationalism and imperialism. Here it is explaining about nationalism and imperialism and the issues in the Balkan region. By the last quarter of the 19th century, nationalism began turning into imperialism. Last quarter means from 1875 to 1900. The major British powers, means the European powers like Germany, Italy, France, Prussia, and so on, became increasingly intolerant of each other and ever ready to go ahead with war. It means all the countries have the superiority feeling that they are superior and powerful to each other in terms of wealth and in terms of defense, weaponry, and so on, and they were ever ready to go ahead with war. They manipulated the sentiments of their subjects to achieve their imperialist ambitions. Imperialism is based on the idea that one's nation is supreme and involves the invasion and occupation of other territories, generally by the use of military. A classic example for imperialism in Europe was the Balkan problem. The Balkan problem. Now let's analyze what was the major issues in the Balkan region. The major source of nationalist tension in Europe after 1871 was the Balkan region. The Balkan comprised of states of ethnic and geographical variation such as Macedonia, Serbia, Greece, Bulgaria, Albania, Slovenia, and so on. All these countries is known as Balkan region. And its inhabitants were known as Slavs. A major part of the Balkans was ruled by the Ottomans. Ottomans are the Muslim rulers from Turkey. All through the 19th century, it means the complete 19th century, that is during 1800s, due to the spread of romantic nationalism, the European subject nationalities under Ottoman control broke away and declared independence. Greece is the perfect example for this. In the beginning of the chapter, we learned about Greek War of Independence. The Ottoman Empire could not do much to integrate these regions. So after independence, the Balkan states were jealous of each other and each tried to gain more territory at the expense of others. During this time, other European powers like Britain, Austro-Hungary, Russia, Portugal, and so on, they were keen on extending their influence and control over the Balkans. So now the situation is there was problem within the Balkans and other European powers also tried to establish power over the Balkans. They were keen to grab more Balkan region for expanding their trade. So the clash of imperial sentiments led to many wars between the major European powers and ultimately led to World War I. Now let's move on to the conclusion heading, explaining that imperialism drives nationalism. As major European powers began expanding territories outside of Europe and achieving their imperial ambitions, the colonized nations and their people also began developing nationalist sentiments. It means the nations colonized by Europe began to oppose the imperialist ideas or imperial domination. That is, anti-imperialist movement started, and those were mainly nationalist. Many colonized nations began feeling that colonialism had suppressed their original ethnic and cultural identity and had brought the imposition of the ideas of the foreign nations. Thus, nationalist movements against imperialism came up in many colonized nations. Nations began opposing imperial domination. Each nation developed its own basis of nationalism, and no nation replicated the European model. In this way, nation state came to accepted as a universal idea, and nationalism spread all across the world. I hope this class would have given you a clear idea about visualizing the nation and nationalism and imperialism. By this, we completed History Chapter 1, Nationalism in Europe. In the next class, we will start Economics Chapter 1, Development. Thank you, students. Have a good day ahead.